How's it going, everyone? And welcome back. Today is a beautiful day. I'm going to be having a conversation with Eli Hemming. If you don't know who he is, you're about to get to know him. He is a former triathlete and now pro runner. He says pro jogger for Adidas or Terrex. Go and check out his Instagram from the show notes to see the kind of stuff that he's doing. Lots of big trail runs, CCC here previously, and then some World Champs races coming up here soon. So, really hope you enjoy this conversation with Eli. He is a really nice guy, a deep thinker, and definitely an engineering mind. So I hope you enjoy the conversation. If you made it to this point in the podcast, though, thank you so much for being here. Make sure to check out the show notes. All the different stuff there really does help continue to grow the podcast. If you could like, comment, subscribe on all the platforms. On YouTube alone, 75% of you guys who listen frequently are not subscribed. So if you are listening on YouTube or any of those platforms and you're not subscribed or following, please do that. If you want to support the podcast, there's a way to do that in the show notes as well. And that's it. Oh, yes. One last thing. So sorry. If you want to sign up for the newsletter, please do so. Every week now, I'm sending out a newsletter for a little recap of three big things that I took away from each episode for the previous week. So on Friday, the episode from Monday and Thursday, I'll be highlighting some of the stuff from that. So check it out. Would love to get your feedback on it. Trying to find more ways to add value back to this small but amazing community. So thank you for being here. And without further ado, I want to introduce you to Eli Hemming.
Perfect.
So where are you at right now? You said you're at an Airbnb. I know you're traveling a little bit. Internet just a little spotty because of the rainstorm, but sounds like you're having the European experience.
Yeah, so we are in Cannes, getting ready for the World Championships. So pretty much, me and my wife have been over in Europe since CCC, so since UTMB week, like a month ago now.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of gone by fast, but at the same time, like the European life has made it feel like it's been a very long time as well.
yeah.
We stayed in Chamonix for like 2 weeks afterwards, and then we just headed over to Cannes and doing a little course preview, figuring everything out, and now we're kind of relaxing, waiting for race day to come.
Yeah, that's awesome. How many times now, in terms of like years and visits, have you been over in Europe kind of doing this race circuit / training and stuff? Is this a relatively new experience or you've done it quite a few times now?
So I've been traveling to Europe and like training and racing for quite a while. But with trail running, it's relatively new. So I was a professional triathlete for years before, pretty much since like I was like 19. And then was it 4 years ago now? My wife and I started traveling around with trail running net. And so really this was our second year at UTMB week. And then doing a little bit of racing in Europe and kind of just getting to be more and more.
Yeah, cool. One other question before we kind of go down the typical, I guess, chronological order, if you will. For moving to trail running from triathlon, I know that's kind of a stereotype now, I guess, of what people are doing and whatnot. But in terms of like your career, training, racing, triathlon, and kind of the little seed that maybe was planted, oh, maybe I would do trail running. At what point did that enter your mind during the triathlon career? I'm just curious.
Yeah, so I was a draft legal triathlete. That's like the Olympic style triathlon. So you kind of live your life in like 4 year increments. You go Olympic cycle to Olympic cycle.
Yeah.
And so pretty much if you want to hop off the cycle, you wait till the end of an Olympic cycle, and you wait till either you make it or you don't make it to an Olympics.
Yeah.
I did not make it to an Olympics. I was angrily close, like annoyingly close. Kind of broke myself at the perfectly wrong time. Wasn't able to do the racing and whatnot, but it's all right. I think it worked out for the better this way. So after that, it was kind of me and my wife were both kind of looking to do new things, and I was like, okay, well, I either go long course and triathlon, which I don't know. I kind of go back and forth on whether it would be fun or not. But I kind of wanted more of a change. She was on and running track and field, and then she, yeah. So we kind of both just were looking around fun things to do,
Mm-hmm.
hopped in a random trail race in Colorado, in Buena Vista, and we were just like hanging out before, like we're eating burgers the night before the race, and we're like, this is actually like super sick. Like everyone's super nice. This is really fun. And like, we could just be like trail running vagabonds. Like we don't really need money right now. It's fine. Like we can go like have fun. I mean, we weren't rolling in money anyway with our current lifestyle. So like, screw it. Let's buy a van. Let's live in the mountains and play on some trails. Figure out
Yeah.
money later.
Yeah. That's awesome. Seems a little risky. Do you have a pretty high risk tolerance?
Um, I would say I'm a very decisive person. When I decide like I'm gonna go for something, I'm gonna kind of go all in on it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it doesn't help that my wife is the exact same way. So it was as soon as we
Enablers.
had
Yeah.
that, yeah, we had that in our mind. It was like we're enabling each other. We're like, screw it, we're just gonna do it. Like we're just gonna see
Yeah.
what happens. Like, we weren't planning on making a whole lot of money with it. So like, it was not, I didn't think it was that risky all in all. Like I was pretty much done with my triathlon career. I was kind of burnt out with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't really see it as, I just kind of saw it as the end of that chapter of my life. And I don't know, professional sports is only something that lasts so long in your life anyway. Like no matter what, you're not going to make a,
Mm.
make the, make a living for the rest of your life with it.
Yeah.
You have a certain amount of time that you can make money, a certain amount of time that you can perform at that top level before your body kind of gives up on you, before
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, I'm going to slow down a little bit. Each year you get a little slower. So like, I was like, well, sooner rather than later, but whatever. Let's go have fun running trails.
Yeah, there's something beautiful about that mindset too, because I think going into it with little expectation and really just to focus on, oh, this is fun. When you don't have expectations, I feel like you can probably even perform at your best without even necessarily trying. So it's kind of cool to have that. The pressure's
No,
off, the nature
definitely. Like,
feel of trails. Yeah.
yeah, no, me and my wife have gone over this like a lot this last few weeks because we both went into UTMB week this year, just like actually having a little bit of that, obviously self-imposed, but that pressure again, and like, oh,
Mm,
we're actually like putting all this pressure on this one race, and like, why are we doing that? That we're here for fun, and we've made all this progress by having fun. Like, why not just keep having fun and keep doing what we're doing? I think that's a reason of why we're doing as well as we were doing, is like
mm,
we were coming into this as this is a fun thing that we're doing, and we're doing it for the joy of doing it, not just like for getting on a podium or doing what have you with that
yeah.
within that sport. It's just for fun.
Yeah. That's so cool. So if I go and Google Eli Hemming, I can go and find, your past triathlon history, your trail racing, and kind of the world you were brought up in. But according to you, who is Eli?
Who is Eli? Uh, you know, just a guy trying to have a good time in life, like find his way through. Um, I'm I don't really know if I have a great answer for that. I'm still trying to find it a little bit. Found happiness with uh, my wife, my family, spend time in the places that I love the most, which happens to be the mountains, and
Mm,
found a way to spend as much time there as possible with the people that I love.
yeah. Where are you from?
So I'm from Eastern Colorado. Looks very Kansas-y out there.
Flat.
But now I'm living in it's surprisingly rolly, but yeah, you can see for many, many miles.
Yeah.
But now I'm living in Kremmling, Colorado, which is up in the mountains.
You think you'll be in Colorado for the foreseeable forever?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I just have a strong love for Colorado, but my wife has strong ties to Colorado with her family. She's a fifth generation rancher.
Oh, wow.
So
Cool.
she kind of told me pretty early on in the relationship, like, hey, like I'm moving back up to Kremmling when I'm done with Boulder, and so like if you want to come with me, you're welcome to, but it's where I'm going to end up.
Yeah. That's usually how it goes with the girls. Like, where's the family? Okay, that's probably where the roots will end up settling.
Yeah, it's really. She did not have to twist my arm at all. Like it's an amazing place.
Yeah.
As soon as I went up there, I was like, "Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm in. I'm with you."
Yeah. Well, when does that happen? What point in life do you guys think, okay, we're going back and we're gonna establish like
No, so
you
we're
were
there
there?
now.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
we're
are there
there
now.
right
Okay,
now.
my fault.
Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome. On the ranch.
So we just moved into the town of Kremmling, which is just about like 10 miles away from the ranch. But we're city folk again,
Okay.
but not it's like a town of
Pretty
like
small town.
1,500 people.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
small. Yeah.
But we're about 10 miles out from the ranch, so we can drive there at any time that we want, and hopefully we will eventually gather enough funds to build a house on there. But we're working on that one still.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It can be expensive, and then this economy is kind of crazy right now too.
No kidding. And so we were looking at building a house this last year. We're like, oh yeah, we'll just like pop up a little house, just like tiny little thing. It will be super easy. Like we were like looking at the prices, and like, maybe we can figure it out, like pay as we go kind of thing, like figure that out. And then we looked at all the permits and everything that goes into it. Like, yeah, that's not happening anytime soon.
Yeah,
Just
it's
there's a
expensive.
lot that goes into it.
Yeah, no kidding. So, do you have siblings?
Yeah. So I have two older siblings. I'm the youngest.
Nice. How have you found your childhood rearing experience being the youngest? Do you feel like it's given you an interesting set of perspectives as you've gotten older?
Um, definitely like so I kind of cringe at the story, but at the same time, like I do believe that it's slightly true. I told my mom that I was the smartest of the three kids, not because my brain's the biggest, but because I could learn from what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it cringy child story, but like at the same time, I do think I was very fortunate and to learn so much from my older siblings and learn through the mistakes that they've made, through the mistakes that I've made. So it adds a lot of different perspective on everything that I go into. Um, yeah, I don't know too much more. I definitely got away with a little bit too much being a young child, the youngest child,
Parents were
but
more relaxed. Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still get crap for that.
Yeah. What's the age gap difference between you and your older siblings?
So it's 2 years between each. So I'm 2 years younger than my sister, and she's 2 years younger than my
Yeah.
brother.
That's like a really optimal. So me and my sisters were a 4 and then 12 years difference. So there's quite the
Wow.
drastic jump. But I feel like 2 years, 2 to 3 years, any more than that, it kind of creates that disconnect. But with 2 years, I feel like you can kind of see the steps that they're taking and like, oh, I'm starting to get there. And for the sport,
Yeah,
with
no,
school, with anything. Yeah.
absolutely. I think it was a really nice way to do it because then it's also like kind of got built in friends of like you're close enough in age
Mm,
that at a certain point you like actually get to start hanging out with them and everything.
yeah.
Like it's a fun part of that as well. Like once you get to that point of you're not the annoying young brother, like you can actually be a friend.
Yeah. What would you say like annoying? Is that maybe one of the big descriptors you would use for yourself growing up as a kid? Or what kind of a kid were you?
um, yeah, so that I mean, I was definitely I knew how to push buttons on my sister and brother, and then like I think what another famous story of Eli as a young kid is I would pick on my sister. I'd poke her buttons until she was about ready to burst,
Hmm.
and then I would run away screaming, "The tornado's coming! The tornado's coming!"
Yep, that sounds like my younger sisters.
It's
That's
part of being a younger sibling. Like you got to
yeah,
do it, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. The ability to emotionally engineer situations, you figure that out really quick. I'm always amazed why with children, especially like dealing with parents or just any adults. Like I don't have kids yet, but my a lot of my close friends do, and even my sister has like a 2 year old, almost 2 year old, and 1 year old. And I kind of observe their relationship even from a very young age, and I'm like, I think that even though that kid can't talk, I think that they know what they're doing right here. Like they're testing the boundaries. It's amazing, like how
Oh
much
yeah,
is actually going on up here even before the linguistics take off. Yeah,
definitely.
super fascinating. So like. how did your family shape who you are today? Because obviously, triathlon, endurance sport, like it's a big piece of who you are. But what did you do as a child that eventually led you to a place where you even considered athletics as a viable way of sustaining yourself?
Yeah, I would say honestly, like, so sport in general was always a big part of my life, no matter what. So my mom was a swim coach longer than I've been alive. So pretty much I grew up at the pool. I was
Mm.
just that little kid walking around in the Speedo with my belly hanging over the Speedo, kind of fat little kid.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's
but
cute.
always there, always doing that. She started a triathlon team when I was like 7 years old. So, uh, and then kind of, so I went to, weird thing about Eli. I went to public schools until fifth grade. And then kind of the public schools out where we were living in Eastern Colorado weren't kind of the best.
Yeah.
So I started getting homeschooled by my parents. So I was homeschooled all the way from fifth grade up until senior year of high school, where they kind of saw it as an opportunity. We all me and my siblings all did it. It was an opportunity to spend more time together, to do more fun things, kind of to live the lifestyle that we wanted to live. And then I got my social fix. I don't know what you want to call it.
Social
I was
skills.
able
Yeah,
to
yeah,
well, I'm working on those still. Social, yeah. Yeah, definitely always working on those. Social skills from sports. That's where I kind of got my social outlet.
yeah.
Of my friend groups were all from different sport groups, whether it was the swim team, the triathlon team, cross country team when I got into high school. So kind of all of that was enveloped in who I was
Mm,
for so long, but it was always a pretty healthy relationship. I think it was never about necessarily winning, doing the best I like. It was never about winning. It was always about doing like the best you could do, evolving who you are as a person through sport,
mm,
um, and just enjoying it. So I think that was something that my mom really instilled in all of us kids, was sport is a fun thing that you get to do.
mm.
And I think through that, just having fun, obviously having some, picking the right parents, I had some decent genes. So I kind of just found myself having some pretty good success. And then the opportunity arose that, like, hey, like you can kind of try to do this professionally. And so it kind of just was a happenstance. It was never like that's always what I wanted to do. It was just sport was such a big part of my life that it became
That's
became a
awesome.
thing.
Mm. If you could go back and change anything about your childhood, would you change anything?
I don't think so. Like it was a really nice life that I've lived. Obviously, there's always some little things, but nothing that you'd actually like want to change. I regret nothing that I've done.
That's
It's
awesome.
honestly like my parents have gave me a very very cushion, enjoyable lifestyle. So like I can't thank them more than what they gave me.
Yeah. Who do you think that you're more like, your mom or your dad?
Um, honestly, I'm like kind of right down the middle. I think. Like I definitely have. So my mom is definitely more of a hippy dippy, love everything. Like it's about the
Mountain
emotional
lady?
side of it.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, plains lady, right?
Our planes.
You
I'm so
living on the
sorry.
plains?
Yes.
Yeah,
Gotta
yeah.
listen better.
Um, but then my dad is engineered, like awkwardly smart guy. And now that I'm aging, I'm definitely finding a little bit of more of that in myself, of
Mm,
kind of learning the love for learning.
mm. Yeah. How old are you?
So I just turned 30.
Oh, congratulations, man. Yeah. Like how soon? Like a few days
I
ago?
made it.
Yeah.
No, no, no. It was in April.
Okay. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
30. Did you ever think, like when you were younger, because I know for me, as I was getting older, I would be sitting around with my sisters or family and be like, oh, well, in this many years, I'm going to be 33 and you're going to be this, but you're like 13, 14, and it just seems so far off. Did you ever have those kind of thoughts? And did you ever think you would make it to the age of 30?
I know I was pretty sure I was going to make it to the age of 30, but definitely thought I would be probably in a different spot.
Hmm.
I it's kind of funny. I went through this whole, like, I don't know what you want to call it, quarter life crisis. Like
Yeah.
I went through this whole thing, like, so in triathlon when I was in my early 20s, we always thought, well, about 30 is like that's your athletic peak. That's when you're at your best. And I was like, and I was hitting this year. I hope this is not my best. Like, and I know like it's different now. Like people have figured out how to change that, and with changing sports, and it definitely is changing all of that. But it was still like a scary 30th birthday.
Yeah.
Like, shoot, I better get my act together if this is my
Yeah.
peak.
Yeah. Do you you don't feel that way then, no, though now, right? You still feel like you have more to gain?
Definitely. Especially with a few bad races this year, it's pretty easy to think that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So a few minutes ago, you know, because I was alluding a little bit to like the social aspect of like being homeschooled. Um, I was not homeschooled, but I grew up around a lot of kids who were homeschooled, and there is a stereotype that kind of goes with that, um, and whether right or wrong. But I was curious to hear kind of your insight into that because obviously you were homeschooled. My mom tried homeschooling me for like a month, and we were so just butting heads. She's like, okay, I'm done with this. So it's probably mostly my fault, to be honest. But I'm curious to like hear about your experience with that and know if, you know, in the future, assuming you want to have children, would you also put them through a similar regiment for education?
Yeah, so I absolutely see the same thing of like, yeah, like there are those homeschooled kids that just didn't quite have the same socialization. Like I don't think, honestly, you can learn so much more through homeschool. Like you can be a significantly smarter person, but with actually like growing up with kids your age, like learning how to interact with them, learning how doing all that, I think is a super important part of life. And I think it was definitely a tough thing. Like I've definitely found myself like, okay, I can do one-on-one pretty easily. Like even groups of people, it's like, yeah, I start to get nervous when the group gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and
Mm,
definitely hate talking in front of people. That's not
yeah.
my thing at all. And I know that's not that weird of a thing, but even that, like I do think goes back to a little bit of, yeah, there's a lot of time that I spent alone, and a lot of time that most people spend with more people.
Mm,
I think that I do want to have kids. I do think that I would need, even just like even how I had like some kind of sports or something. I think during those development years, you need time spent with kids your age that you can actually learn to interact, learn to deal with problems. I think that causes a lot of growing up and solving problems by yourself, learning how to talk to adults, not having. Not, one of the funny things that actually Taber and I were just talking about was parents ordering stuff for their kids, like kids not communicating with adults. I
mm,
think that's a big thing that's kind of tough with, like, if you don't do it, you're never going to be comfortable with it. And so like, I get that too. Like it's one of those, I think socialization is needed. Like
mm,
we're social creatures. And
yeah.
so I think hiding yourself away, hiding your kids away is tough for them to
Mm.
actually learn to be the best humans they can be.
Yeah. So even you know when you said like ordering something from an adult like at a restaurant or maybe even going to get gasoline like in my parents back in the day when you had to go in the store to pay for the gas or whatever, my parents would make me do that and I remember feeling pretty intense like oh this is like makes my stomach sick to even go do that, but I can't really truly pin my experience on like oh this is why I felt that way. Like it doesn't really make sense to me why we would feel. I guess it's just being shy, but it seems like there should be some bigger fundamental reason why most kids experience that. Like maybe it's because we're like, oh, stranger danger. I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, I don't know. And I think a lot of it's just not like kind of the unknown of what is this interaction going to bring. And
Mm,
I think that's a similar, like that's even just learning how social skills in themselves of like
Yeah.
learning how to interact with kids. Like
Yeah.
you learn, oh, well, this is going to get this reaction.
Yeah.
Like kind of that's how you're learning social norms, right? Like
Yeah.
you're saying things and
Definitely.
you're like, oh, can't say that.
Yeah.
Or, oh, people like this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is easier too when you're younger as a kid because kids usually say whatever comes to their mind, and then kids also react in just the purest fashion, and like unfiltered whatsoever. Like, Jimmy, that was stupid. You're dumb, or whatever,
Yeah.
or on the flip side, the nice way. Um, but I'm also fascinated with kids who are homeschooled, or even kids I would say who grow up more in rural America, spend more time outside and like alone. I would say there's a positive side to being able to be silent with yourself or to be present with yourself and be okay with that. Because I know plenty of people, family members included, who find it very uncomfortable just to sit in the quiet. I struggled with that hugely after getting married, and it became apparent because my wife's like, "Hey, let's just sit down or sit with me," and I'm like, "To do what? Like, what are we doing?" Like, no, she's like, "Let's just sit here and maybe we'll talk about something, but just be in my presence." So there's definitely, I think, a positive aspect
No,
to being
definitely.
able to do that.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. And honestly, so one of the things I see like mostly with that is we've been trying to get off Instagram as much as possible.
Oh yeah,
Like
that must be
actually
hard.
trying to get bored, like actually
Yeah.
not filling every moment of every day. Like we kind of, I think as a lot of people have had like this same like epiphany moment of like looking in line, like say like you're waiting in line for a coffee, every single person on you in front of you is waiting hand face up to the phone, like looking through Instagram, and like our attention spans have gone to nothing. I think a lot of that, like something that I'm trying to grow in right now is
Mm,
learning how to sit and do basically nothing
yeah.
just so that my attention span can recover from what I've done to it through Instagram for years.
Yeah. That's why it's like, yeah, a couple of things what you're saying. First of all, yeah, we have totally trained ourselves to be ADD, really, because it's
Mhm.
like, I don't like that, I don't like that, I don't like that, I don't like that. And the algorithm is just trying to get you with these like little punches. So we've totally trained ourselves in that way, in that regard, or allowed ourselves to be trained that way. But I think that's one reason why I think people may love the mountains so much is because you can be in the absence of screens, but there's still a lot of sensory things that you can learn to take in that you wouldn't otherwise notice. It's like driving really fast through a national park. It's like, yeah, you see some stuff, but when you slow down and you can hear and see, smell all the things, then that allows your brain to kind of recalibrate into, I think, yeah, slow down and not be like always chasing that next high.
Yeah. No, I fully agree with that. Like there's like a serenity in it of being like, oh yeah, I'm just out doing the thing, and even just being like fully focused on a single task, like doesn't necessarily matter what it is. It's very fulfilling at the end of it. You're like, wow, I just spent like 2 hours trying to, I don't know, like I was staring at this one thing on my run. Like this
Mm-hmm.
is what I've been thinking about this entire time. I've been
Yeah.
thinking about how to adjust this, adjust that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think there's something super important to be said about that, right? Like, just absolutely being fully invested into one single thing at a time.
Do you ever find that you come to any levels of epiphany or realization or maybe even processing difficult things from your day or life out on the trails?
Um, I'd say a little bit. Kind of, my wife and I kind of joke about having we go on just like random walks like all the time. And it's just like that's when we really have our like
Mm,
our moments of like we're just talking through stuff. We're like, wow, this is what's all wrong with our life right here. Like let's open up the book. Let's talk about it. Like
yeah,
this
that's
is what we've
awesome.
been doing wrong. This, and like we yeah. So we have our cathartic walks for sure.
Yeah. How long have you been married?
So we are coming up on 4 years. So
Congratulations.
yeah, race day of World Champs is our anniversary.
Oh, let's
Yeah,
go. That'll
weird
be
way to
special.
celebrate an anniversary.
Yeah. I would expect nothing else from professional athletes. That seems like to be pretty stereotypical, like something like
It
that might
works, I guess.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome. Do you have plans after the race to try to go and do something? I guess you'll be pretty tired.
Yeah, so I think kind of after the race, we're just spending a little bit of time. I mean, we don't have any big plans. Obviously, like immediately after, we're going to be cheering on the long trail the next day, and then the classic the following day. So
Mm,
I'll try to get in a few last minute adventures. Like we keep seeing mountains over here. Like, oh gosh, I would love to get out to that mountain. So I
yeah,
think on Sunday we're going to see if we can get out on a big adventure. But then
cool.
let's go home and get ready for more races.
Yeah, no kidding. So I'm curious, whenever you're saying you go out on these walks and you'll kind of open up the book and say, okay, these are things that are wrong with our lives. Um, I know for me and for some other people, it can be kind of overwhelming to do that in some sense because as you lay out all the problems, then you have to use the critical thinking to prioritize them and figure out, well, what actions need to be taken or mindset shifts need to happen in order to change these things. When you guys are talking through those things, whatever they are, maybe they're maritally, maybe they're individual, what do you do? Like, how do you choose what gets put number one on the priority list? Do you write things down? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time, like we do end up writing down, like, all right, well, this is one of the biggest things that we need to change, and this is something that we want to change. Even just we write down a lot of random goal lists and like random things we want to do, but even just as simple as putting it out, like actually talking it out, and like, wow, yeah, that is actually something that's probably going wrong. Like, say in our training, like, wow, yeah, we got so even like this year we've been talking about this nonstop. We're like, oh yeah, we've got like influenced of like this is how we should be training, whereas like we were doing completely different stuff last year and we're like having way more fun doing it. So like
Mm,
why would we, and having great success, like why would we change? And so like we were talking like, oh shoot, yeah, we I think we just got influenced. Like the people got to
social
us.
media,
like
high carb.
yeah,
Ah, yeah.
exactly. Like it's the social media. Get off of it. Like go back to us doing us. And like I think we write down the important things and kind of just it's nice to have the other person there to talk it through. Kind
Yeah.
of like sets it a little bit more in stone, and then have them there to keep you accountable for what that is that you want to change.
Yeah. Mm. What takes up the most of your mental bandwidth, or what's taking up most of the mental bandwidth right now?
Right now, a little bit of that, like kind of what we were talking, like what I just said of like
Yeah.
we've been on quite a few walks this week of why did we start training the way that we did this year that wasn't necessarily the way that we thought was best in the previous years, and like did we just like start listening to too many people of like, hey, why what like, so one of the things that we love doing the most is going out and racing. Like we spend so much time in the mountains by ourselves, and so like kind of getting that social outlet that we want, the only way to do that is go to races. And so like we used to race all the time, and all of a sudden this year we were hearing all these people like, gosh, you shouldn't race that much, you shouldn't race that much, like why are you racing so much, it probably isn't good for you. And so this year we weren't racing very much. Like shoot, we lost out on so much fun that we could have had.
Mm,
uh so yeah, a lot of mental bandwidth of like, I think next year is the year of Taber and Eli doing Taber and Eli again, of
that's
just
awesome.
being standing strong, of back to us doing us.
Yeah. Do you find that your training regimen actually looks a lot different because you're racing more? You get most of your intensity stuff from like the races and stuff. Is that, or do you kind of
A
doesn't really
little bit.
manifest?
It kind of just like we even just like the amount of like cross training and random other stuff that we were doing. Like we do a lot of random stupid training that was like, oh, this just seemed fun at the time,
Yeah.
but it like got us a lot of hours. It got us a lot of volume and strength. And uh, I do think like even the racing is just like missing stimulus that we were just kind of ignoring and like we didn't think had that effect. So yeah, I think it's kind of a little bit of all, even just happiness of like going to do fun stuff and not getting in the training rut of this is all I have to do with my day, of like this is all I do, and this is
Yeah.
then I need to spend the rest of time resting, and it's like just running, let's go have fun, let's go see people, let's do the things we want to do type of thing.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. I wish there was a way to quantify it. I don't even think that there is, but the value of life and the increase in potential if you do more of the things that like bring you the joy, even if it's not like the textbook. Well, you got to go do these intervals, or you got to go do this, or you got to make sure to lift that weights 2 times a week and strengthen this
Yeah.
tendon and blah blah blah. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a coaching business, and I kind of love I love and hate it, but like the telling the people this, because it's not necessarily just the training that I think matters. It's your belief in the training.
Mm.
So like there's been a lot of people that have done a lot of stupid training that is objectively bad. And they have done amazing things because they're like, this is what's going to make me the best. And so like, I don't know, one of my favorite examples is, have you ever heard of the name Emil Zotapek?
I have not. I probably should.
Okay. So you should look him up. He's hilarious training.
Okay.
But he was in the like army or something, and he would run 400 repeats in his boots, and he would just do repeats, 400s, and he'd do like hundreds of them. Like this guy was psycho about it.
Yeah.
But that's like all he did. And so like, and then he came out, and I think he won couldn't tell you what year it was. It was like he won the 5K, the 10K, and the marathon in the Olympics one year.
Wow. What year was this?
I couldn't tell you the year. It was quite a while ago.
What was his name? Emmanuel what?
Emil Emil Zotapek. Yeah.
I'm looking him up. Okay, here we go. 1922. He died in 2000. He was born in 22. Won 3 gold medals in 1952 Summer Olympics in Helsinki. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So like absolutely wild of like, I think a lot of it, like kind of just going back to a lot of it is as long as you believe in the training and it's getting you, and like most of it's okay, you're going to do well. If you don't believe in the training, it's not going to work. So I think like what you were saying, like, even if it is as simple as like, okay, I know that this isn't necessarily like the best thing for me, but it's the best thing for my mental state. And like ultra running, it's just as much mental as it is physical. Like when you're past 50 kilometers, like it's not necessarily just who has the highest VO2 max, who has the best lactate threshold. It's about a lot what's going on in the noggin.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot to be said about it.
Yeah. No, I would totally agree. I mean, I think back on, so I've done 2 full Ironmans, and the first one was like this very cathartic experience of, because I went earlier that year, just had a really bad mindset, had some bad races, and I really committed to not being married to the numbers and kind of just going out and enjoying the day. And even on mile 20 of the marathon, my knee was hurting a little bit, but I was so excited to be there that it just kind of didn't even matter. It kind of just held at bay. But then I did another Ironman a year later, pretty bad mindset, and I ended up walking a ton. And I really don't think that my body was really that much different, but it was kind of all up here. Because once you give up, it's like the body's just like shut down. It's like when you're on your way home from a long run, and it's like that last mile, always suddenly the body's like, all right, we're shutting this puppy down. Like, just like everything feels so much harder this last mile or whatever it is. It's so fascinating, like the mental aspect of it. And yeah, because especially with like track training, because everyone's like, oh, here's my hero session I did going into 70.3 worlds, and it was, it's perfect. And everyone's like, that's it. That's the key. And like, I guess if you
That's
believe
the
in
one.
it can help. But it's like the consistency and the belief. Yeah, there's so many variables to consider with this stuff. And I'm very amateur and new into all of this, truthfully, in like the last 5 years. But it's you can't teach that. Like it has to be almost experiential, like after years of kind of hitting your head against the wall, I feel like.
No, definitely. The mental side of it's so difficult to actually like get into. Taber, as I was coming into the longer and longer races, she's kind of told me like she saw me in my triathlon days when I was having like kind of a bad day. She'd just be like, you just say F it, and you're like, I'm done. Like I'm just cruising in basically. So it's for the first however many races I did, she's like, can't say F it. You cannot give up with it, because like no matter what, you're out there. Even so, I did this race called the JFK 50 miler, and
Yeah.
it's it's like a very fast 50 miler. I think I finished in like 5.5 hours or something like that. So super fast. Has this trail section, and then you just get on this like
Road.
pancake flat gravel path that's just like river grade. You're slightly going up and just running along. I was having terrible stomach. I was
Mm-hmm.
stopping at all the porta potties and like see my wife at like 38 miles or something.
Yeah.
And I get to her and she's like, "These are supposed to be hard. You're not allowed to give up. I'm not picking you up. I'm not letting you drop out of this race because you're fine. You're still running like 6 minute pace. You're fine. Like it's okay.
Yeah.
You're just not winning the race." And then she sees me at the next aid station. You're able to drive all the way along. And she made the conscious decision to, instead of driving along the race and seeing me again, she's like, "Nope, I'm going all the way around the other way so that he can't stop."
Oh, there you go. Wow. That's a partner who knows
she,
you.
she was forcing me on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been butting my head on that same thing with you. So
Yeah, that's cool. Um, just really curious because you mentioned that one. Were you racing that against Seth Rolling? Do you know Seth? I'm sure you do.
yeah, I know, Seth. No, so this was just last year.
Okay.
I was racing David Sinclair when he got the course record there. Yeah.
Nice. Good
I'd like to say I paced him for the course record.
Yeah.
He didn't give me any money for pacing him though. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I should talk to him about that.
You should. Definitely. So, you were talking a little bit about belief. What do you believe in? Do you believe in any like spiritual forces? Are you a religious person?
I'm not. I didn't grow up religious. It was kind of on. I kind of liked to say that I was more non-confrontational than I was religious, because really I saw religion like for the longest time as confrontation,
Mm,
and I'm still very non-confrontational person, but yeah, I don't know necessarily. Call myself agnostic, but I don't know really. Like I didn't spend too much time thinking. My wife is very religious, and she's kind of show me the better sides of religion, but yeah, it's not something that I spend a whole lot of time on.
yeah. Do you think that as you get older, that may change?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's definitely something I'll probably spend more time on later on.
Yeah. For me, like when I go running and stuff, so I did grow up religious, but it always seems to like truly like touch that part of my heart or head or however you want to look at it. Just because of like the very, I don't know even how to describe it. You have to be out there in the mountains to like take in the mountain air to see what's going on, the birds flying overhead, like all that stuff. The way the sun sometimes comes through the leaves, it always like hits me right in the face, like, oh, this is amazing, and like then my mind kind of goes in that direction. So I was just curious, like as you experience those things, what you end up thinking about. Sounds like you just live in the present, really take it in, like this is beautiful.
Yeah, no, I'm just enjoying the views while they're happening.
Yeah,
Not necessarily thinking of why they're there, but
yeah,
just trying to enjoy them while they're there.
yeah. Random question. On your arm, you have a chemical bond and a tattoo, I think, like some kind of,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. What is that?
That is a caffeine molecule.
Nice, of course. Nice. So why did you get it there? Did you love caffeine?
Um, yeah, so uh, I am I'm very I'm a recovering douche. I was a very douchey coffee person for a very long time. Still kind of douchey about my coffee, but I am very like into my coffee. It's something that I've always been pretty passionate about. But honestly, one buddy of mine was just like, "Hey, you want to go get a tattoo later today?" And I was like, "Sure, why not?" Like, okay, we got to go to the pool first because you're not supposed to swim for a couple days after you get one. So let's go swim, and then we'll just go get a tattoo. We'll figure out what it is then. And so,
Nice.
in the swim, I'm like, oh, well, I really like coffee. Like maybe I could do something with coffee. And I'm like, Yeah, I think my mom would kill me if I got just like a coffee cup just on my arm. So
Yeah,
it was like, okay, well, at least like a caffeine molecule is kind of cool. Like, I don't know, like you see a lot of random tattoos of like people getting like molecules and like, oh, well, caffeine is very important in my life. So
yeah.
I actually have two douchey coffee tattoos. I also have a portafilter on my bicep, so which is part of an espresso machine.
Yeah, yeah, the little thing you put on there. That's
Yeah, yeah.
amazing. Is that the same reason somebody was like, "Hey, let's go get another tattoo," and you're like, "Yes, sign me up."
Um, Yeah, I did have a little bit more thought into that one. It was, I think it was like a week or so. My family, like, it was some odd, like, random family thing. They were like, I don't know, let's all go get a tattoo together. And I'm like, cool, whatever.
Yeah,
And so they all put a little bit more thoughtfulness into their tattoos, and I was like, I still like coffee.
yeah. You think you'll ever get another one?
I have a few. Honestly, probably not. I've become more frugal in my older age, and I've realized how much tattoos cost. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, well, that's I don't know if that's money well spent. Like
yeah,
there are things I'm passionate about, so I don't like regret them or anything. But it is
yeah.
not really doing a whole lot for me. I'd rather buy or build a house up on our property.
Yeah, no kidding. What kind of a house do you want to build? You said kind of small, obviously simple, but is there a specific type of atmosphere that you want to be in that home? Is there a particular type of architecture that you just love?
I'm not really I'm not really the one to ask on that. That's my wife.
Yeah.
I am more about what's outside of the house. I need a good bed. I need a good kitchen, place to put my coffee machine, somewhere to keep warm in the winter, and some big windows to look out at the mountains.
Okay, yeah. Pretty cool. We'll have to have her on sometime then.
Yeah,
Do,
definitely.
yeah. Do you spend more time in your head or your heart in the way that you approach life and the decisions that you make?
Ooh, I would say in the heart. I care more about like less. I'm trying to be less analytical about it and more how I feel about it. Um, Definitely, there's times that I'm being in the head, but I'd say I try to follow my heart and what I'm most passionate about, what I'm finding the most joy in. I think that's kind of led me to where I am now. So
Hmm.
pretty happy with that.
Yeah. So, in kind of in light of that a little bit, head versus heart, because there's things that we all go through. What is something difficult that you're going through that people don't often see?
Something difficult I'm going through. Honestly, my life's pretty easy.
Yeah, pretty
um,
chill.
my yeah, I hate to be that guy, but my life is I am very pleased with where my life is right now. Uh, I don't have too many tough decisions to make. I'm following the heart and seeing what I love to do. I've got uh, somebody to live my life with that I
Hmm.
want to make as happy as possible. Maybe one day start a little family. Have a little house up on the hill.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm having too many difficulties.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah,
fair.
come at me in a few years. I might find
Yeah.
some for you.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let me ask you this then. Do you think, to this date that we currently find ourselves in, what is the most important thing you've ever done in your life, you think?
Uh, Reply back to my now wife sliding into my DMs.
Yeah. So she came
Yeah.
after you first, huh?
Yeah. So, kind of funny story. We had a mutual family friend, and so I knew of her, and she knew of me since we were like 14 and 12 years old. Our mutual family friend was like, I have this person for you. Like, no, you don't. I'm a weirdo. Like, there's no chance. There's
Yeah.
no way. And she randomly saw me on Instagram, like 10 years later, and was like, I think that's that guy. And she messaged the family friend and is like, do you know if he's single and ready to mingle? And I just get a text from her. It's like, are you single and ready to mingle? And I'm like, I
Wow.
guess. And then Taber, like 2 days later, messaged me on Instagram, like, "Hey, I'm in Boulder. Do you want to have coffee?"
Yeah, I'm single. Mingle? Question mark?
I'm single. You want to mingle?
Yeah.
I
So,
guess, yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. And obviously you did. Like, it sounds like that went well. How long did you guys date before you guys got married?
So we've been together for about 6 years now. So it was about
Mm,
2 years that we were dating and engaged, and
yeah,
then 4 years marriage.
nice.
Yeah.
Coming up on lucky number 7 then, total years of kind of knowing each other on a deeper level.
Yeah. Knowing each other more than a family friend saying, I have a weirdo for you because
Yeah,
that matches your weird.
yeah. What do you think is most weird about you, Eli?
Most weird. Um, See, the problem is I find it normal.
Yeah.
Um,
What are the
I don't
things that
know.
other people think is weird?
I would say probably just what I find enjoyment in. I'm very much, I've never been the guy to have, well, obviously, like I was talking about earlier, this podcast, I guess. I've never been the guy to worry about what other people were saying. I was doing my own thing.
Hmm.
And so I was always doing what I found enjoyment in, and which was going out and exercising for way too long, like trying to explore through different mediums of biking, running, and now just that I found mountain running, it's even more exploratory,
Yeah,
more serious adventures.
yeah,
So I don't know. I'd say probably just the things that I actually enjoy and the things that I follow probably
yeah,
seem a bit odd to people.
yeah. I don't think it's that weird. I don't think it's that odd. But yeah, we'll see. Like, because I think what makes it hard for people to like truly get in and understand that is like they don't have that experience. Like, I wouldn't say you're as odd as you think. I mean, at least in this industry, it's becoming more infectious. Like more people, and I think it has to do honestly also with like the socioeconomic status of a country as we move from
Mhm.
like this industrial age to now we're upper middle class, and then you have extra time to kind of think about doing these types of things. But I hope it's my hope, especially for like my friends who I've met in China who have, you know, climbed the ladder socioeconomically, and now they're starting to think about like, oh, what is camping in like? 'Cause China's beautiful. What is camping out in the wilderness here? What does trail running look like here? I hope that more people can begin to experience that because like it adds a layer of flavor to life. I think that most people really don't even get to experience, especially if it's like 9 to 5. I got to go do this, come home. You get stuck in the rut, and it makes it very difficult, I think, to live outside of yourself a little bit.
No, definitely. Like I think that I fully agree. Like it is a fortunate situation that I'm in, that I get to explore and do what I and follow the things that I enjoy so much. Um, so like it's definitely not something I'll take for granted. Of that's a cool thing that I get to do, and
Yeah,
that maybe I see it as weird because not many other people actually get to do it quite the way
yeah,
that I do it.
yeah.
So
That's true.
that's yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So, how has your definition of success for your own life changed since you were, let's say, 20 years old, probably still into the short course scene, and now you're the ripe old age of 30? You're trail running. You're thinking about building a house in the mountains. Like, what is success in your career and life look like now for you? You think?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, success is just kind of continue doing what I'm doing, growing in the things that I'm passionate in. Um, I don't see success as like necessarily winning a race, because whatever, like winning a race is cool, but I don't really necessarily care about that. But if I'm, it does allow me to pursue this life that I do want to pursue. And so, as successful as I can be is me pursuing what I want to pursue as much as I can, which, yeah, is living in the mountains with my wife, with my future family, in a small house, doing the things that I want to do.
Mm, yeah, good answer. So, two final questions for you. First one, it's another deep one. So thanks for bearing with me. This one will be fun. So when you die, what is
Yeah.
the best case scenario in your mind of what you think could or should or would happen?
The best case scenario of when I die?
Yeah, like in terms of like if there's something else afterward, is there an afterlife? Maybe there's just nothing. Like what seems most comforting or the most like best case scenario that you if you could like kind
Okay.
of draw it out.
Okay. So like not what happens without me. It's what
Correct.
happens to me when I okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, obviously most comforting would be having an afterlife.
Hmm.
Um the thought of nothingness is a scary thing, right?
Mm,
Um I don't think necessarily I want to live assuming there's an afterlife because I want to live as much as I can live while I'm here. Um, and then if there's an afterlife, that is the best case scenario. Keep getting to spend time with my loved ones.
mm.
But if it is nothing, I want to spend as much time doing again doing the things that I enjoy here.
Yeah, beautiful answer. Nothing. That's interesting that you said that. Like nothingness is scared. I've asked that question quite a few times to people, and I've never heard them kind of put the nail on the head for the fear of nothingness. Because, like, yeah, I don't know, just kind of hit me a little bit. I think that is what a lot of people are afraid of, or the loneliness, or just the
Hmm.
absence of something, the absence of it. Yeah,
Just kind of it's a little bit of the unknown, right? Like I don't I think in true nothingness you won't be necessarily having that conscious thought of
yeah,
while I'm
sure,
by myself while I'm doing nothing, but you don't know, right? Like
yeah.
it's a scary thing.
Yeah. Well, I remember as a kid, so my mom was going to take us and me and my sisters on like this cruise, and then she decided not to, kind of because of it was circumstantial. It wasn't going to work out, but also I forgot what I did, but I did something pretty bad, and my sisters, I think they were too young to really care. But my mom was like, "Hey, we're not going, kind of because of this and this." So I had a hand to play in not going on this cruise. But it wasn't even not going to the cruise that bothered me so much. It was not going, knowing that I wasn't going to get to experience something that I hadn't experienced before. So yeah,
Mm.
I think that rings true. Not that it's the same as an afterlife. It was a Disney cruise, and I'm sure it would have been pretty lame if I look back on it now. But yeah,
No, but it is one of those things that like as a kid, like
yeah,
definitely a experience that you are very much looking forward to. So I
yeah,
can see that.
yeah. So, a final question for you. For somebody who is looking to go through life with a little more present or value on the present, like you're saying, being on the phones less, disconnecting a little bit, what are some practical steps or something, I guess, a piece of advice that you would tell that person, not just on how to do it, but maybe they don't even see value in it right now and they're like, whatever, that's kind of, like, what would you say to them to almost make a case for why disconnecting is a good thing?
Yeah. Um, I think a lot of it goes back to actually like true like social interaction with people. I think always being like semi connected with people, you're actually further away from anybody than you've been. Like
Yeah.
I know so much about people that I won't reach out to them because I already know what's happening in their life, right?
Mm,
Spending time on Instagram, like I know what everything that's happened in that person's life. But like say I I'm trying to be off Instagram now. Like we actually have a separate phone that we call our work phone, and that's the phone that we have Instagram on. So me and my wife hold each other accountable of like, okay, there's no scrolling because it's on the work phone. That's not work.
wow.
But like I do think it is something that you don't get like true personal connection through Instagram. Of you get this highlight reel of somebody's life
Mm,
where you actually don't get to truly learn about what's happening, what they're going through, um, if they're if they're actually that having that good of a time, or if they're like just putting on
manufacturing it.
uh,
Yeah.
manufacturing. Yeah, so I think it even just being off Instagram as much as I have been this year, it's kind of given me the opportunity to actually reach out and be a better friend and a better person with other yeah with my friends with my family.
Yeah. Beautifully said. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. Even I know it's a little bit later there now for you with the Wi-Fi issues and stuff, but you did really great. Like brain power is there. So yeah, I appreciate it. Even mine was a little low today, so you carried it through quite well for me. So thank you for making the time, and really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for putting up with me being hard to get a hold of.
It's all good. It's all good, man. Thank you. Thank you so much to Eli for coming on and sharing his life story with me. Really cool to hear that he is taking so much time to invest in disconnecting from the phones and the Instagram world that we live in. I know if you guys are like me, it's a bit overwhelming to try to even take in the constant flood of content that honestly, most of it is pretty rage baity, if that makes sense. It's a weird world that we live in, and it's a strange time, but it's a good time to live because I think it's starting to sift out and filter through all of the stuff that doesn't matter, and shaking us awake to realize that our time on this earth matters, and the things that we say definitely hold weight, and how we relate to each other and for the future into eternity, I think really does matter. So thank you guys so much for jumping in, taking a listen. Really appreciate you being here, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.